All right, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Mayum coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations unto the Akim around the four corners of the earth. We're diligently pushing out this truth, and this truth and sincerity. And just want to do a quick video. You just had this earthquake about a day ago. What was it? Let's see the exact date. Yeah, it took place on Wednesday, so a couple days ago. It's lucky. And hey, man, this is clear signs that the Lord is visiting this place, man. Okay. Let's start off with this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 29. Yep, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6, it says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." And see, so, when we see things like this, and I believe that same day you had multiple earthquakes. I didn't hear about them, but brothers were bringing it up about, there being an earthquake out in California earlier before these two earthquakes that hit Venezuela happened. And then I believe they also had one in over at I think like Japan or something along those lines, somewhere out there. And this is clear indication that the Heavenly Father, as we just read, is visiting this earth, man. And the fact that we're seeing things like this take place is showing you the time period that we're living in. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 9, and I'll start at verse 1. He answered me then and said, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I had told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." You see? So we've seen the signs pass, man. Okay, and we'll get that, matter of fact, let's just get it real quick. We'll get the beginning part of Matthew's, because Yahweh Shai told his disciples what the signs would be of his return. Okay? It's Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 4. "And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many." And we've seen that happen, man. You've had many people that have come out and said that I'm the anointed of the Lord, follow me. Okay, and one of the main ones that has done that has been good old Cesare Borgia. All right, which is the image that was the likeness of him that was used to depict who the world now calls Jesus Christ. Okay, which in all actuality goes back to the worship of Serapis Christus. All right, which was a man-created God, so-called God, idol, I'll say, from Ptolemy the First, Soter. All right, which created this God for people to worship and created the temple of Serapis, which is, I believe, if I'm not, I could be wrong. A brother can correct me if I'm wrong on that temple is still up in Egypt. Okay, which again there's another thing that leads back to Egypt, over to Egypt, man, which Esau has a big infatuation with. Okay, that was one of the greatest deceivers that was brought to this earth. Okay, that deceived many. Okay, but what Yahweh Shai here is speaking unto his men, all right, the disciples, to not be fooled and not be deceived by these so-called anointed people that were coming. Okay, because none of them were chosen by the Heavenly Father to come and warn his people. The Lord chose men from up out of our own nation, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, to go out and to warn our own people, not men or idols of other nations to come and warn and speak unto our people, man. That's not what the Lord did. But that's what you clowns follow, man. God's idols of these other nations and or men from these other nations, that's who you follow. That's who you believe is anointed of the Lord, man. All right, but continuing on, Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrow. So these things all have already been happening, man. So these are the signs that the Lord told us that we would see happening on the earth, that would be an indication unto us of the Lord visiting this place which he made, man. All right. So going back, and and that chapter keeps on, but going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 2, I read it again. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which is, what are they talking about? All over this earth, man. It's all these different uproars that we see happening on the earth. Just recently it came out, I think a couple hours ago, I came across this article that said that Hezbollah was talking about a civil war in Lebanon because of what's happening over there with Iran, or with Hezbollah and Israel, that there's going to be a civil war. So there's been nothing but talks of uproars of the people for the longest time now, man. Here in America, there's been talks of another civil war breaking out, okay? And there's been nothing but civil wars happening all over the earth, okay? So it said, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which is what we see happening, okay? You had this earthquake that took place over here in Venezuela, which is about 1,000 people. Obviously, they're saying reported is 1,000 people dead, but bro, there was whole buildings coming down. Whole buildings that collapsed. And you think it's just 100? There's probably 100 people in that one building. But they did say 1,000, thousands missing, which I guarantee you those thousands ain't never going to be reported about, ain't never going to be found, because they're in the rubble if they can even be identified, because some people may have been crushed so badly that you're not going to be able to know who the fuck that is. Okay, but see, these are things that the Lord is showing us to show the world that, hey, I'm here. Okay? And for those of us that see these things, having eyes, we see, these people having eyes they see not. All right? And count it as a blessing towards you if you can see, if you believe on the Lord without seeing him. Because we don't see him yet, we see his works. That's what we do see. You see? So it says, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And we're seeing the end manifest itself before our very eyes, man. It's becoming clearer and clearer as the days go on that this is the end. We're at the end, man. Okay? There ain't no more questions or debates to be had about whether or not we're living in the last days, man. It's clear and evident. If you still want to try to have a debate or argue the point of that we're not at the end, that we still got 1,000 years, like Alazar Von Lawyer said, the diddler himself, all right? He said we still got another 1,000 years. You out of your damn mind, man. It's clear and evident that the Lord is visiting this place. What else do you want for the Lord? And see, that's the thing, is there shall be no other sign given unto this wicked generation, man. The Lord ain't gonna give you another sign to make it clear to you fucking clowns that the Lord is on his way. The only sign that you got is what you see. The prophets to explain to you what's happening. That's what you do see. That's what the Lord has given you. But what has the majority of people on this earth done? They've disregarded the Heavenly Father through his prophets, man. They've disregarded us because they see just men. They see men like unto themselves, so they believe, oh, well, who the fuck is this guy? Who does he think he is? Coming out here talking about he knows. You don't know, nobody knows. That's what they'll tell you. Nobody really knows. Nah, we do know. The Lord gave us the signs. He told his disciples the signs to look out for. At the end of the day, we don't know an exact date, but we know a roundabout time period, and we in that roundabout time period. Okay? So, hey, man, it's just a beautiful thing. At the same time, yeah, a lot of people died, but hey, man, it's a beautiful. A lot of those Israelites that perished in that earthquake, man, they're back up with the Most High. So it's better for them to have perished and be back with the Lord than to be on this earth and to continue to suffer, man. Because them people in Venezuela, that shit ain't sweet over there, man. People going through it, catching all types of hell, especially with Esau getting up in there now. They lucky, and I wouldn't be surprised if those earthquakes was something that Esau did, man. Okay? 2 earthquakes back to back, strongest they've had in centuries, man. Hundreds of years. It just so happened to happen right after Esau got up in there, man. Come on, man. Sometimes things are just as obvious as they appear to be. Okay? Sometimes you just got to take things for face value. And not try to dig too deep, because then you go past it, and you won't see it for what it is. Okay, so that's pretty much the point that I wanted to hit on. Because we are at the end, man. We are at the end. There ain't nothing else to be said, nothing else to be talked about. It's clear and evident where we at on the timeline of things, man. So hey, with that, I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the 4 corners of the earth. We're diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. With that, I say Shalom.